G'day and welcome to ReDriven and welcome to our first ever question and answer video. One that both Jim and I are quite nervous to do because neither of us have ever done anything like this.
I have no idea what we're doing.
I know, here we go. We shall get straight into it. From Cars from Oz, how did ReDriven come about? Who is involved? Is it your main job now? Love it, mate. We love you too. Okay, how did it come about? Well, Sam, the guy behind the camera at the moment, he and I have been mulling over this idea for quite a few years actually, and it was a crazy bunch of events that made it happen. We wondered why no one was doing used car reviews when they deserve to be done properly, and through a lot of research and work and trial and error, it has happened. Who is involved? Okay, well, Sam and I. Sam, you little rascal, do you want to come and say hello to the audience?
Sure.
This is Sam, everyone.
You look great.
You look great. You look fabulous. This is Sam.
Can I go back?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you'll never be seen again. Obviously, Jim. And we have Cal. Cal edits the top 5 videos and the this versus that videos and is a bit of an artistic, amazing genius guy. My cousin Hayden helps us do a lot of research. And there are a couple of other people involved, and hopefully this year we'll be expanding into even more people. Sounded a bit rude, didn't it? Okay, is it our main job? Well, for Sam and I, yeah. It doesn't pay like at all, but hours-wise, yeah, it is the main job. It's a relentless amount of work. We weren't expecting it to take up the hours it does, but we are now doing it beyond full-time, and hopefully one day it'll pay us some kind of money. But
Hopefully.
You're a mechanic full-time.
Yeah, well, this is my main job.
Yeah.
And I just do this much work compared to these guys that do a lot of work. So
We couldn't
it's
do
all
it.
these guys.
Couldn't do it without you.
Thanks, mate.
Easy, man. Favorite car and dream car. So, Media Reminisce 19, we're assuming that you mean favorite car as in like the favorite car we've driven in our personal histories, and dream car is something that, you know, we haven't driven but would love to or would love to own. Favorite car that you've ever driven, ever?
That's a loaded question. I wouldn't know where to start. My favorite car... There's too many. I'm going to go straight to dream car.
Okay.
And it's not particularly fast or flash. I've always wanted an R32 GTR. It's just a thing from my childhood.
Yep.
I should have bought one 5 years ago when they were affordable.
Yep.
Still my dream car though.
That's lovely.
A bog stock standard one. Yep.
My favorite car that I've driven is the it was a Porsche GT3 RS but the 3.8. I'm sure it was a 991 GT3 RS but the 3.8 litre. That thing was unbelievable. We will feature one on ReDriven one day and you'll get to see me cry like a teenage girl at a Justin Bieber concert. There's
Get
that
all
thing.
giggly.
Yeah, I'll just get all, oh my goodness. Dream car, it's another Porsche 911, but it's an air-cooled one, and like it doesn't actually exist, it's in my head, but it's sort of somewhere between like an Autohaus Hamilton 911, a Magnus Walker 911, or a Singer 911. So it's kind of like a culmination
Less
of
showy
those.
than a Singer.
Yeah, less special than a Singer. I want it to have a bit of patina and some scratches and be a bit rough, but then mechanically just be absolutely incredible. So yeah, that's the dream car. Okay, John Caldwell Photography. Which car have you reviewed that has surprised you, and what is the car that you thought was going to be shit but turned out to be a gem?
Well, I look at them from a mechanical perspective, so I'm not surprised by any of them. I'm surprised when some of them don't break down, which is good. Look, I think this is more of a driving and dynamics thing, really. Yeah, I'm not surprised by any of them because they all break sooner or later.
Okay, which car have you reviewed that has surprised you, and which car you thought was going to be shit but turned out to be a gem? Let's go with the one I thought was going to be shit but turned out to be a gem. Land Rover Discovery 4. Yeah, mechanically, a bit scary. But I went into that review assuming I was going to hate that car because I can't stand like brand names and all the crap that comes around brand names. So I just saw it as like, oh, Land Rover, here we go. It was brilliant. It was a fantastic car.
You wanted to hate the Commodore too.
I wanted to hate the SS Commodore as well. But after many days with that won me over. That's a good thing. Which car have you reviewed that surprised you?
The one you've been banging on the most since you reviewed it's probably the 86 though.
Great point. Yeah, 86. Yeah.
You have been like dreaming of one of them ever since.
Yeah, the 86 got under my skin big time. That is exceptionally good car. Muzan 20. Any chance of a G-Class review? Yes, 100% there is a G-Class coming. We actually had a G63 booked in and it was good to go, and then the owner sold it or traded it in for a Lexus.
Can we get the ex-military G-Class?
If we can get the ex-military, if anyone out there has an ex-military G-Class that you're happy to lend us for a review,
I think that'd be cool.
Let us know in the comments. That'd be great. We'd love to do that. Simeon 74, best 3 to 5 year old 7-seat SUV. Pretty easy, this one. Santa Fe or Kluger.
Kluger, yep.
Yep, Santa Fe or Kluger. Easy.
Honourable mention to CX-9.
Oh, yeah. How about, what's the Kia 7-seat? Sorrento?
Yeah.
Honourable mention to
yeah.
Kia Sorrento? All right. Okay. Kluger,
Santa
Fe, Sorrento, CX-9.
CX-9 at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
But all the others, excellent.
Great.
Yeah.
Passion Pop Pappy. What are your thoughts on the current surge in wheat prices? I think that's pretty obvious. It almost speaks for itself.
Our sources say that it's, the Reserve Bank?
No, the central bank basically printing too much money.
They just keep printing money, and apparently that's pushing the price of everything up.
Yeah, especially wheat prices. It seems like a silly question because I think everybody knows what they are.
Knowledge.
Everyone has their thoughts on the wheat prices.
Adam_Freeman asks, what's my ideal date night? Well, he should know. But now my ideal date night is my special lady and I would both slip on our best pair of Crocs and come down into the workshop and maybe, I don't know, work on the race car or weld something. That's what romance looks like to me.
A romantic night of welding.
Yeah.
How do you guys manage to gather all of the information for your videos, especially the cons of a car, mechanical issues, driving performance over a period of time, all that sort of stuff? A lot of information that he finds on or she finds on the internet is black and white. How do you know if it's accurate? Okay. How do we manage to gather all the information? It is hours and hours and hours of work. So it depends obviously on the particular car. Generally speaking, the first thing we do is just go through endless amounts of forums and online research, and we can get access, and anyone can get access to this stuff, but there's reliability reports, there's customer service satisfaction reports, and you can gather all that sort of stuff. We look at recalls.
I will go back through 10 years of records in the workshop to see what we've done on any particular car, and quite often we'll know anyway because the amount of times we've seen a particular car, we see the same problems over and over again. And that's a really good tool to use, and some of our industry platforms as well have some good info on there as well.
And both,
technical data.
And both Jim and I have friends that work in the industry, so we'll reach out. So I've got friends that work at Audi or BMW or Toyota. Jim's the same, so we'll reach out to technical departments. And what's funny, what we find is on some of the cars that are a bit shit, I'm not going to mention any names, but the guys that work on them get so frustrated at working on them, they're happy to tell us all the inside goss of a particular company or a manufacturer and the crazy shit that goes on in the background, because they want to vent and they want to go, please tell the people that the water pumps on this particular brand constantly blow up.
One of my mates who works at a Euro dealership says, I'll call you after work so we can talk properly.
Yeah. So there's that. Then we generally join not under our names, but other sort of alias names, sometimes under our names, the car's owners groups, and we'll, not just here in Australia, but we'll join owners groups all around the world, and I'll subtly put things up there. There's been times where depending on the particular car, I'll look at who the admins of the page are, and I'll write to them personally and go, hey, look, here's what we're doing. Have you got any tips? We go through that. We also trawl through forums, for hours. This is what Hayden, my cousin, does. He'll trawl through forums.
A lot of the information on forums has to be seriously fact-checked, though.
Yeah, so
there's a lot of bullshit on there.
Absolutely. We'll find stuff on a forum, and then we'll spend time, let's say, for example, it talks about a gearbox blowing up regularly. So then we'll go and we'll talk to the service guys. We've done this a few times where we'll look at the amount of, because we've got friends that work in the parts community as well. So we'll look at how many parts are sold nationally versus how many cars are sold. So if, let's say, 100,000 of X car has been sold and 95,000 of a particular part is sold, well, that's obviously a common problem.
Yeah.
So we'll look at that. So we'll try to make sure that we correlate any of the information we find, and we'll fact check that information to make sure that that is accurate. So it's not a precise art, and you know some of it is subjective, but we try our hardest to make it as objective as possible. And the more we get into ReDriven, and so therefore I suppose the more we know that our spread of information is getting out there, the more accurate we try to get with the information going out. So I
like it when we do miss something, you know, our viewers will comment. And there's always something we miss, and there's always some good info that comes from the people who own them as well.
Absolutely. I can't remember which video we started introducing it, but we want people to, especially the owners of these cars, we want people to comment, because like we'll do a bunch of research, but then, you know, there is a chance that we might miss something, or there might be something that's specific to a different market, because, you know, cars don't come out of, generally speaking, don't come out of the one factory. So like a 3 Series BMW might come out of 5 or 6 different countries around the world. So certain countries will have specific issues for that particular market. So we invite, if you own the particular car, let us know in the comments.
We're just starting a conversation.
Exactly. Yeah. So the way we see ReDriven is that it's a community. Like, we're not necessarily the authority. It's just a place where people can come together and share their information.
And we want people to comment and say,
100%.
You know, every problem they have, we want to hear about it.
Yeah. But in saying that, I need to ask you guys a favour. If you are a fan of a particular car and we happen to criticise that particular car, we're not personally attacking you. We're not personally attacking your particular car. You may have not had any problems with your particular car, but the information that we're talking about has been obviously researched for sometimes many, many days.
We try and present it objectively.
Yeah, absolutely. But
people are so passionate, and they do tend to sometimes take it personally.
The only analogy I can ever come up with, it's like sporting teams. Like I've got mates that are a particular fan of a football team. And no matter how shit that football team is, you can't say anything bad about that football team. That's sacrilege if you dare put that team down.
But people love their brands.
They do. Yeah. But there are plenty of cars I love that I know are shit cars, but it doesn't matter. I still love them. It's okay to like a shit car, but maybe don't jump down our throat if we criticise something and there's the visual evidence that something's gone wrong. Just be okay that the car you love might be shit. Okay, 4x4 therapy. How did you learn the art of making such good reviews? From your dialogue to the video footage, how can I learn this? All right, first up, we're no authority on this. Okay,
Sam, do you want to sit here for a minute and answer this question? Because I just stand there and say things I have no idea about.
Okay, we're still learning. Like, I feel like we've got a long way to go. You and I, especially, and Sam, obviously, we spent hours watching, Matt Watson on Car Wow, like obviously Chris Harris, obviously the Top Gear and Grand Tour guys, anyone from Carfaction, all the Carfaction films, Jason Camissa, that stuff's out of control.
We love those guys,
those guys are at the top of the food chain. We're still learning, but I think
Having said that, watching that stuff is great. Watch your idols, but also make sure you find your voice and do it your own way.
Yeah. That's a great point. One big thing that we've always been, I suppose, really pushing is to be our own thing, not to copy Top Gear or not to copy Jason Camissa or not to try to be the next Matt Watson and Car Wow. We just try to find our own little niche in the market. Sam and I started making car videos years ago for another outlet, and our first videos are terrible. They're so bad. I struggle to watch some of the first. No, okay, sorry, Sam. The production stuff is great, but me, I can't watch even the early ReDriven videos, like Ford Ranger, MX-5, any of those first videos.
Do you remember
Tiguan?
The first Amarok? No, it wasn't Amarok. It was Tiguan. The first one I did.
Yeah.
For my 60-second bit, it took an hour and a half. It's incredibly hard.
And you just keep working at it, get better and better. It's like anything, practice makes perfect. At the moment, our Ford Ranger video is going really well. It's got some serious momentum, and I cringe at that because it's one of our first videos, and there's so much. I wish we could go back now and reshoot the whole thing. But I think it might be the first video we ever did, and oh my god, I can't watch it, and it kills me. It doesn't kill me. I'm stoked that it's going up in views. But cringe.
It's
cringe
not our best work.
It's not our best work. Robert C. Bruce, Adam, when are you getting Adidas Ultra Boosts or NMDs? Mate, I actually have Ultra Boosts and NMDs. I just don't feel like they suit me. They're super comfy, but I've become a bit of a Puma guy of late. Alexander_knows. How about a review on the 90s MR2? Yep, 100%. We actually have a special thing coming up with the 1990s MR2, but that'll be probably later in the year. GC8 WRX or DC2 Integra Type R. I've been fortunate enough to own both of these cars. I'm going to go...
If you had them both now,
right,
and you had to sell one,
I'd sell the WRX.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Integra Type R, especially the one we reviewed, great mate of mine, Easton Cheng, one of the best photographers in the world. It brought all these memories flooding back. Like, you have to work hard to get.
Why did you sell that car?
Because I'm an idiot. Timmy Trouble, to answer your question, I'd personally go Integra Type R. It's not as fast. It's harder to get it to perform, but because of that, I find it. I know it's more me. But they're actually still great.
I'd probably have a WRX.
You go.
Out of those two particular cars, I'd probably choose a WRX.
Yeah. Timmy Trouble's also given us the new BRZ/GR86 or Focus RS.
Okay.
You go.
Yeah, well, I would have almost always traditionally or historically said take the Focus RS, but lately I've been struggling with owning and driving a somewhat fast car as a daily driver. Way too risky, way too fast, kind of frustrating that you can't really have a go. And it's kind of annoying. So I'd probably go the 86 because it's just a little bit less fast and possibly a little bit more fun.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think if you'd asked me this even 8 years ago, I would have said Focus RS in a heartbeat because it is a spectacularly good car. But these days, here in Australia, especially New South Wales, we live in a nanny state when it comes to driving, and you can lose your license so quickly. And I don't have the self-discipline to own something like a Focus RS. I wouldn't have a license.
Ask me how I know.
Whereas the 86, the one we reviewed was so good. And the new one's apparently even better again. I hope we get to play with one of those. And if it's better, I can't even... That thing's going to be incredible. Yeah. I'd own one.
Way more user-friendly. In terms of driving it to its,
Yeah, it's
potential.
more fun more of the time. Like, you have to... I think you have the RS, you have to be at kind of at least 7/10 to really be getting it. Otherwise, it's a kind of a hard-riding hatchback and the seating position's too high, as the 86. It's just great all the time. Sad Mac, do you have any plans to expand the business model? Yeah, big time. The business model is quite substantial, and I can't go into details, but we have enormous goals and plans for ReDriven and the Driven world, and we're really happy with how it's all tracking at the moment. But things are exciting.
It takes time.
It does take time.
It's going to happen.
It's the journey. I'm happy to not ever get to the end of the goal. It's the journey that makes
Perhaps maybe down the track you might even get paid.
Imagine that. Imagine getting paid to spend I don't know, 16 hours a day to 18 hours a day researching these videos and actually, looking at your bank account and going, I'm not just hemorrhaging cash like crazy. Robert C. Bruce. Adam, what inspired you to do ReDriven over reviewing new cars? Great question, Anderson. Jim is a huge part of this. We're great mates from years and years back, and Jim one day was telling me about this young apprentice guy that came in. Dad had bought a Volkswagen Amarok, and he did his research. He jumped online and he looked at a whole bunch of reviews, and everyone raved about how great the Amarok was.
He paid way too much for it.
Yeah.
It had way too many Ks on it.
Yeah. He got a loan, so he had $25,000 loan out on this car, and within weeks of buying the car, the engine blew up, taking the gearbox out with it, and the repair bill was around about $25,000. So here's this 18-year-old apprentice who's now, this is the first big financial thing he's ever done in life, and he's now $50,000 in the hole on a car that if he does somehow get it repaired, he's going to be able to sell for, maybe 23 grand. So he's always going to be in debt for years and years and years. And it got us talking about going, why, people don't know that these things can happen. If he'd just done his research and just been the Amarok's a great thing, but maybe I should get a Triton instead, or a Hilux or something else instead. So
we need to, we felt the need to save the people from terrible cars.
Yeah. A friend of mine, Frances, that owns the Yaris that we reviewed, she had a Holden Astra, or a Disastra, And like that thing, the same thing, like because there was nowhere to do research easily and like in an entertaining way, she bought an Astra and it cost her thousands because they're a really shit car. So yeah, it was honestly like hand on heart, ReDriven is happening and happened because we just want to try to help people. We don't want to see people making horrific financial decisions and getting themselves in sort of financial hot water. If we can help people make better purchase decisions, then that's.
I mean, they still buy terrible cars.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
It does.
Despite our best advice.
But as long as they're educated, as long as they know, okay.
Informed choice.
Yeah. One of my best mates is constantly buying high risk cars, but he knows they're high risk and he's in a position to be able to afford to do that. But yeah, honestly, Robert C. Bruce, it comes from a good place. We would love to help people as much as we can. But Robert C. Bruce, to elaborate on the section where you're like over reviewing new cars, I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a motoring secret here. All new cars, all of them are really good. Like even the really cheap, the Chinese ones, they have a massive warranty and they're cheap. So don't expect any bells and whistles because they're cheap, but they're still good because they have a warranty. They have factory support. Also, with new car reviews, if you review a car in, let's say, 2015, well, that review works for that car when new in 2015. But once it's a used car, that review doesn't really make any sense anymore.
And that review also might have been biased because they might have getting paid as well.
Yeah. Probably legally can't go deep into some of our stories about certain media outlets and having to say
cash for comment.
Yeah, having to say certain things because there's some advertising. Anyway, won't get into that.
Yeah.
But honestly, all new cars are great. We love new cars. They're fantastic. And there might be plans to do something with new cars one day, but it'll be different to what everyone else is doing because they're all good. There's almost no point in reviewing new cars because they're all great.
What do you like the look of? Yeah,
which dealership's closest to you so it's easier to go and get serviced? What colour do you like? They're all great. All new cars are good. Diversely
827.
827. Is the C63S overhyped? Jim?
Oh, yeah. I think they are.
Okay.
I think they're over everything. I think they're overpriced, overhyped.
They've just been ruined by association. There's a certain element of society that are buying C63s or C63Ss and they're ruining it for everybody. Yeah. So all of a sudden the car has a pretty antisocial kind of vibe to it because dickheads are driving them.
And does overhyped mean not value for money as well? I mean, you can spend way less money and get something better, I think.
Yeah. Like
or as good at least.
Yeah. I'd buy an older Lexus ISF over a brand new C63S. Or maybe not brand new. If it was for the money, I don't know. But I don't know if they're overhyped. They're very, very, very good.
Yeah,
but they're ruined by some of the owners. Dream affordable car under $15,000 for every day, including riding, going to gigs, long distance trips.
I'm just going to go with XT Forester. That's had the head gaskets done.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to concur with that. XT Forester. Yeah. As long as that head has been...
As long as heads have been done,
As long as the head has been done.
And the turbo's been done.
And
not an automatic, get a manual.
Yeah. And it's got a full and thorough service history.
Yeah. And the wheel bearings, make sure they've been done.
Yes. So there's
other than that,
realistically, there's 3 XT Foresters in Australia that you should be looking at. But XT Forester.
Yeah. For under 15 grand.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, that's all we have time for at the moment because this video is taking forever. So this is the end of part 1 and part 2 is coming very, very soon. See you in part 2. And those first videos, that was so noisy.
I'm sorry. Sam, just wrecking the set.
My fault.
We're not using any light from there, are we?
No. For f***'s sake. You keep knocking.